Okay. Welcome everyone. Hoş geldiniz. Herkese iyi akşamlar. There's a big crowd. That's really great. Çok kalabalık, çok büyük bir topluluk var. İyiyim Jasmine. Sen nasılsın? Ben iyiyim. Diğer arkadaşlar nasıl? How is everyone? How are the other friends? Harika, güzel. Herkes ders için hazır. Everyone is ready for the lesson. I see some new people, some new faces. Welcome to our server, welcome to our lesson. Before we start, I will give a quick tip for them. You should watch the stream. I am doing a screen share right now. You can watch it on the live button if you tap or click on my name at the top of the list in the voice channel. And if you're already in the stream, I will show you how to go to the thread. Like here, you can go to the lessons text channel, and then there will be an imperative, optative chat, and like there will be a thread. Then you can click there, and you will see the chat. I will read this part. During the lesson, everyone will be muted. It will be only me talking. But if you want to respond, if you want to ask a question, you can type in here. Okay? So, başlıyoruz. We are starting. I just need to do a few quick final adjustments. Like quick settings. Okay. I think I'm good to go. Ben şu an başlayabilirim. Evet. Öncelikle firstly, for those who don't know, I want to give a quick summary. Önce küçük bir özet vermek istiyorum bilmeyenler için. Bu derste optative ve imperative moods hakkında konuşacağız. Peki optative ve imperative moods nedir? What are these suffixes? What are these moods? What do they mean? Öncelikle imperative ile başlayacağız. We will start with imperative mood. The basic function, the basic meaning of imperative is giving orders or giving commands. Okay? And the base suffix is none. There is no suffix for imperative mood. That will be easy. So I want to mention the Turkish name for this imperative mood. It is called emir kipi, because knowing this name will help you to remember what it means or what it stands for. Because emir vermek or emretmek, this is how we say to give an order in Turkish. For example, like yes sir would be emredersiniz komutanım. Like you command my commander. Or I command you to go somewhere. Sana gitmeni emrediyorum. It is related to this verb, so it is called emir. Actually, even the emir itself is a noun. It means order or a command. And this is how it looks. Böyle görünüyor. Mesela git dediğim zaman sadece go demiş oluyorum. When I say git, I'm saying go. When I say gel, I'm saying come. Kitap oku. Kitap means a book. Read a book. Kitap oku. So buraya gel. Come here. Türkçe öğren. Learn Turkish. Simple, I guess. Basit değil mi? Peki müzik neden durdu? Why did the music stop? I want to restart it. Tekrar başlatmak istiyorum. Okay. I can't do this without the music. If you don't like it, you can mute TurkBots. It is all optional. What kind of imperative is this gun emoji? It is the Türkçe öğrenelim kind of suffix. It's the t special. It is our inside joke. So yes, Türkçe öğren. Learn Turkish. You have to. Okay. And back to the topic, back to the lesson and optative mood. Türkçe'de bu optative mood istek kipi diyoruz. We call it istek kipi. The basic function is intention or desire. And of course, there are some complications and details. We will talk about them. But for now, the basics is, like the basic function is intention or desire. When you want to do something, I mean, of course, you can use the verb istemek to want. Mesela, you can say, I want to learn Turkish. Türkçe öğrenmek istiyorum. Of course, you can use the verb, but you can also use the optative, Türkçe öğreneyim. And we will talk about the underlying implication. Why wouldn't I say öğrenmek istiyorum and why would I say öğreneyim? What is the difference? What kind of other meanings does this mood convey? We will talk about all of these details. They've got a slightly similar implication. In fact, when I mention it, when we go to the delights of Turkish, they will be completely combined. That's why they are in the same lesson. Okay, and I will do one more quick thing. Önce bir şey daha yapacağım before I change the slide. There are a lot of people today. That's great. You know, honestly, when I was doing the lesson, since this is one of the beginners and most of the learners, most of the regulars are not beginners, so I was like, would this be boring? So I tried to include a lot of interesting things for them, but I'm also happy to see a lot of beginners. So the first half of this lesson will be mostly targeted at beginners. We will talk about the basics, and then once we got the conjugations covered, we'll talk about the details. We'll talk about the you know, as we call it, delights of Turkish. Okay, and I will read those examples. Gideyim. So when I say gideyim, I'm basically saying let me go. Gideyim, let me go. Or gidelim. Like gidelim. This time I'm changing my pronoun me to us. Like let us go. This is why the suffix changed here. The a suffix is the same, but now I have lim instead of yim. Okay, so yapayım. Yapalım. This time I even changed the e to a, e to ı. Like, you know, the vowel harmony. And finally, the name of the server, Türkçe Öğrenelim. Wait, why is this L in lower cases? I want to fix it. It looks ugly. So, wait, learn. Okay. Let's learn Turkish. Türkçe öğrenelim. That's what this server means. Let's learn Turkish. Okay, so let's get down to the details. Let's get down to breaking this into the basics. Like, what is the mechanism behind this mood? It will be simple. Basit olacak. Çünkü vowel harmony yok. Consonant harmony yok. There's no vowel harmony, no consonant harmony. But, however, o, siz, and onlar, these pronouns, they get the subject markers. As you can see in the table, they use the subject markers like o. Wait, these colors are also ugly, so let's make them the same. Okay. Ben, there's no conjugation for ben, because think about it, you can't give an order to yourself. It wouldn't make sense. So it doesn't work for yourself. It doesn't work for me. We don't say anything for me, right? Like, can you imagine giving an order to yourself? Yeah, that's why we use optative. Exactly. True. That's true. There are other alternatives, other ways to do this, but in the basic form, you can't use it. So there's no conjugation for ben, which is I, and biz, which is we. So just let's skip that part. Sen. Sen git, sen yap, sen öğren, sen uyu. For beginners, I want to point out something. The first parts are always the same. That's why, that's what we call the infinitive suffix. The mek, mak, or mekmak is our infinitive suffix. It is our default form. So when you conjugate a verb, you remove the infinitive. And in the imperative, we remove it and we don't put anything else. That's all. It's just git, yap, öğren, uyu. We just take the infinitive, the stem, the root of the verb. Git, yap, öğren, uyu. Okay? But things get complicated when we talk about o. O is he, she, it. In Turkish, we only have one pronoun for all the genders, like he, she, it. We don't have grammatical genders in Turkish. So just o. Git, sin. This time I need to put this sin to mark my person. If I don't put this sin, it will look the same. It will refer to sen. So it will mean sen git, but I want to say o gitsin. And this is kind of strange or ironic because in other conjugations, o is the only one that doesn't get an ending, like söylüyor, he is saying, or geliyor, he is coming. In other conjugations, we don't have any markers for o, but for some reason with imperative, we put the sin suffix. And then siz gidin, and then onlar gitsinler. The rest of the table is a bit of memory, like you have to memorize it. I don't want to make it boring and read them all, but I want you to conjugate the last blank parts, like görmek and söylemek, the same way I conjugated the first four verbs. You can type them in the chat. Sohbete yazabilirsiniz. And don't forget to use the spoilers. You know, I hope you know how to do the spoilers. You can type them in the chat, I will read. Then we will move to details quickly. And after the lesson, in your free time, you have to do a lot of practice like this, because if you don't do practice, you will forget most of this information. The table will just fade away. And so far, my goal is to get you used to the mechanics, the mechanism, like the dynamics, and then we will start making examples. You know, Turkish is made based on suffixes. Once you get the suffixes done, you will be able to form your own sentences. So let's see. Okay, you can do the conjugations for both verbs like görmek and söylemek. İkisi için yapabilirsiniz. Aynı mesajda ikisi için yazabilirsiniz. But şu an için doğru. Wait, doğru. What? Why can't I add an emoji? With the other account, I couldn't add the emoji. Interesting. Testilla couldn't do it. Okay, then in that case I will be reading. Oh wait, I want to fix the problem. Okay, we are back. I'm back. I mean, there was some technical issues with my other accounts. So, Jasmine, your answer, the very first answer, that one is correct. Good job. It's still not working. Interesting. Anyway, then in that case, I'll do with the other. Okay, there are a lot of answers. Instead of checking them one by one, I mean answering them one by one, I'll do the markers. Then I will type the conjugations into the table myself, and then you can see the correct answers. So far, most of the answers seem to be correct. I will mention it if there's a major mistake. Okay, tamam. Yeah, you guys got this. Hepinizin cevapları doğru. There are some small mistakes. For example, dekanır, the one in your onlar conjugation. Onlar görsünler değil, onlar görsünler. And ryoksi, söyle, söylesin, söyleyin, söylesinler. And balat, görün, görsünler. You forgot the vowel harmony. Görsünler. Söyle, söylesin, söyleyin, söyleyinler. Okay, tamam. And wait, I want to do correct majunche. Sen gör, o görsün. Siz görün, onlar görsünler. Not görünler, but görsünler. Onlar görsünler. Okay. So, I will fill in the table. Şimdi tabloyu dolduruyorum. Let's start with görmek. And for sen. Sen gör. Simple, just the infinitive. And gör, o. I need to add this sin ending, but I need to follow the vowel harmony. Sometimes it can be sin, sometimes it can be sun. This time, I have ö in this stem. After ö, I need to have görsün. Okay, and there's siz for görmek. So in, there's in suffix. I need to adjust the in to the vowel harmony rule. So after ö, I will need ü again, and it will become görün. And after onlar, there's sinler, but I need to adjust it to sınlar or maybe sunlar, or in our example, görsünler. Görsünler, okay? Gör, görsün, görün, görsünler. This is how you conjugate them. This is how the vowel harmony works. Ünlü uyumunu böyle uyguluyoruz. Gör, görsün, görün, görsünler. Burada ü olduğu için, ö olduğu için burada ü kullanıyorum. Peki diğeri. Söyle. Just söyle. Sadece söyle. Peki söylesin. Söylesin. Burada içinde in the stem'de var. Bundan sonra i söylüyorum. Söylesin. Sonra siz söyle. Okay, I feel like probably things got complicated here because that's what we call a buffer. A buffer is basically a standalone letter that is only used to separate two vowels. Like söyle, if I say this, söyleyin, it will be like söyleyin. Okay? But I need to separate e and e. So it becomes söyleyin. And how about görmek? Görsünler. Görsünler. So this was the basics. Temel çekim bu şekilde. In your free time, you can do more practice. Maybe it will be easier for you to do this later. And I will move to the delights of Turkish part. I tried to insert the delights of Turkish between the slides instead of putting all of them at the end. This way you will keep the focus on the topic, because when we go to the end, sometimes you forget, it feels difficult to go back to the topic. So now, we are already on the topic, so let's talk about the delights of this imperative mood. Wait, I said görsünler twice? Oh, right, you are right. Söylemek. Söylesinler. Yes, thank you for the heads up. Söylesinler. Now it's correct, and move to this. Extra polite forms. Now things get a little bit more complicated, because I didn't mention this, but I will go back to mention it. I forgot to mention it for beginners. Sen and siz is you, but there's a difference. Sen is the singular or informal you, and siz is our formal or plural you. Other languages have this same difference. Like in German, there's du and sie. And in Turkish, we have sen and siz. So for siz, we have extra letters, extra suffixes, because I don't know why. But normally this in here is the suffix for siz. So this is already formal, like sen, it, siz, itin. This is already formal, but if it's like a public announcement, public sign, we also use this is. We make it even more polite. Okay, I hope you get what I am saying. The itin is already formal, because we don't say it for sen, we say it for siz. But in context of a public sign, like maybe instructions like press the button, step inside, someone is telling you what to do in a formal context, we also use this is. And çekiniz, for example, çekmek means to pull, so pull the door, pull it back. So, and then there's in, çekin. Sometimes you can see this with the only extra letters like itin or chicken. That is fine, but you might mostly see it itiniz or çekiniz. Yeah, we are just trying to be as polite as possible, so we are adding a chain of suffixes to make it polite. It is perfectly okay to say itin, but itiniz is also very common. Okay? Like other examples, other verbs would be, for example, you are waiting for the bus is now ready, and the driver or a public speaker is making announcement like, everyone please get on the bus. Lütfen otobüse giriniz, or lütfen otobüse bininiz. You will see this from the speaker. Or you will see a big sign saying, for example, geçiniz, like move towards the other side or cross the side. Geçiniz. Or devam ediniz, please continue. In traffic, maybe you will stop and the police will come to you and say, lütfen devam ediniz. Please continue, don't stop here. Lütfen durmayınız. Okay? The is, us, the four options for siz adds the extra politeness. Wait, formal. I noticed my own typo. Formal. Okay, and yes, we like being polite, so we also want to be soft polite. What does that mean? Because like gitsin or gidin is polite, but we also say gitsene. That adds a little bit different meaning to it. Like you want to tell someone to do something, but you don't want to be rude. You don't want to be like bossing them. Instead of saying gidin, like here, or itin, you are saying gitsene, yapsana. The difference here, this doesn't have to be with strangers. You can also say this with your mom, with your friend. The itin or itin is, chicken is, the other extra polite is mostly with strangers. But if you are talking in a friendly context, you still can be polite. And if you say like gidin or gidinis with your friends, that will sound distant. It will sound like you see them as a stranger. So instead of or avoiding the strange feeling and still being polite is how is the sene suffix. So like in this example, I'm asking my mom to give me the salt, the salt shaker, you know, the little thing. Anne, tuzu versene. Anne, tuzu versene. You can say verin, then that sounds very weird with your mom because you wouldn't be formal with your mom. It's your mom, annen. Ama kibar olmak istiyorsunuz ya da biraz daha yumuşak bir şey söylemek istiyorsunuz. O yüzden versene diyebilirsin. Okay? Lila, yes, read this example here. Mesela kapıyı açsana. Mesela you are waiting at the door and your brother, your friend is inside. Then you are calling them, kapıyı açsana, bekliyorum. Hey, open the door, I'm waiting, kapıyı açsana, bekliyorum. But you are doing this in a friendly and polite way. Kapıyı açsana. And in other context, in English, this can be translated as why don't you as a suggestion. Like, sen de bizimle gelsene. This is a suggestion. It basically tells them to come with us. But I'm asking, why don't you? Sen de bizimle gelsene. There's a loaded question. Why don't you come with us? I am suggesting that you come. Is there any reason why you shouldn't? Sen de bizimle gelsene. Or, hadi konuşsana. Why don't you talk? Just talk. Hadi konuşsana. And Lila, yes, you are right. Even though the suffix is technically the same suffix, it depends on the context. It depends on the tone of your voice. Like, it can also express frustration. So far, it was just soft, polite. It was soft, like you were asking someone to do something politely or softly. But you can also be frustrated that they didn't do it. Like, there is someone waiting in front of you on the street. They are not walking, so they blocked your path. And you will be like, yürüsene. Now you sound a little bit more maybe loud and a little bit more stern, like with a heavy tone, yürüsene. And you can even include a few modifiers like adverbs. Yürüsene kardeşim, or yürüsene ya, or yürüsene be. Be is rude, or lan can be rude. This is like a call for a fight, but yeah, it all depends on the tone, context, and the other adverbs. It can mean a lot of different things. Or beni dinlesene. Like, this is something a teacher at a classroom would say. Like the teacher is trying to explain a lesson. The students are not listening. They are talking between each other. Then teacher turns to them and will be like, or actually not dinlesene, but let's change it to plural because the teacher is talking to the group of people, the class. Dinlesenize. Beni dinlesenize. Okay, you can maybe hear the angry tone in my voice. Beni dinlesenize. When you say it like this, it is obvious that you are frustrated, you are angry that they didn't do it. So you are just telling them, hey, do this. Okay? Maybe, or I hope you don't encounter someone who sounds more angry than this, Engin. I hope you always get the nice, polite forms. So you don't have to worry about hearing the difference. New imperative. Yeah, the angry imperative. It could be the polite imperative. It could be, but yes. And finally, let's talk about the negative forms. Negatives are simple. We just add this ma or me. We say gitme, yapma, or gitmesin, yapmasın. There's nothing much to talk about this, but maybe referring to the previous lesson about the verbal nouns, like coming or reading, the tone could be, or like the stress could give it, and could tell you. You can also tell this based on the context. Like if this is the imperative, it will be used at the end of the sentence, like o eve gitme or o eve gitmeyin. But if it is a verbal noun, it will be used as an object. O eve gitmesi. Mesela onun o eve gitmesini istiyorum. I want him to go. This time it's not a negative imperative. But that's just an advanced detail referring to the previous week. So, yeah. And question forms, this is the last one. Gitsin mi? Gitsinler mi? You can see how we basically got rid of the other pronouns. Like, there's no sen, there's no ben. There was never ben in the first place, but there's no sen anymore either. But there's no git. There's no gel, because you can't make that equation. It hurts my brain to think about it. It's just non-existent. I will talk about this. When will we say this? It's more like a suggestion. Should. Like, should he come? Should he do this? We will talk about the we will talk about them in more context. For now, that's all I can say about the imperative. When there are these 4 differences, 4 details you need to know. And yeah, now I will move to the other mood. Şimdi diğer kipe geçiyorum. Optative mood. Bunun hakkında konuşacağız. Bunun ekleri biraz daha karışık. This one is a bit more complicated. So başlıyoruz. We are starting. Okay, this time there's a suffix. Optative mood has a suffix. It has 2-way vowel harmony. After a, u, o, u in the last syllable, you have a. After e, I, ö, ü in the last syllable, you have e. And you also need to do the buffering. If the verb stem ends in a vowel, you need to say ya or ye. Softening, there's no softening, don't worry about it. So you can read the notes, but as I keep saying, the notes are mostly for other people who don't join the lesson but read the PDF after the lesson. For now, I will do this with you. And oh yeah, about softening, Softening is usually applied to nouns, like we soften the letters of nouns. But gitmek, tatmak, etmek, these are exceptions. These verbs, these three verbs, they also use the soften as if they are nouns. Okay? You are right. Buffering, let me check. You are talking about here, this consonant harmony. Oh, I didn't do it because the buffer here is not about the suffix itself, it's about the personal marker. I didn't do it for that. I didn't even talk about vowel harmony because it's not about the imperative marker, because there's no imperative marker. It is about the personal marker. So like personal marker gets this. So you should always know that like vowel harmony and consonant harmony, they should always be in your mind. Even if there's no harmony or consonant softening in the suffix itself, by while adding the personal markers, you will still need them. Okay? Yeah, but you can say gitsin, yapsın. When you say, like when I say sın, when you know it's four-way, you can say sin, sın, sün, sün. But I can include it later. It's not that big of deal. So let's do this table. So gideyim. Normally the verb stem is git, but since gitmek is an exception, we also change it to gid. So I say and yim. Gideyim. And git lim. Okay? Yap ayım. Yap alım. Öğreneyim. Öğrenelim. Uyuyayım. Uyuyalım. Okay, this time I included the buffer because as you can see, uyuyayım, it is in the mood marker itself. So uyuyayım. Uyuyalım. So we will do görmek and söylemek together as before. So you can start now, and don't worry about this. Ignore this part. I will explain why. For now, let's do the conjugations for ben and biz. Ben görmek, biz görmek, ben söylemek, biz söylemek. So you can type the answers in the chat with spoilers as usual. Göreyim. Wait, I should read this in my mind. Yeah, correct. I shouldn't spoil it. Spoiler vermeyeyim, spoil etmeyeyim. In Turkish, do we have a Turkish equivalent for spoiler? I don't think so. Oh, Balat, pay a little bit more attention to the spelling. Okay, seems good so far. Şu ana kadar güzel gidiyor. Bravo. Evet, çok güzel. Very good. İfşa etmek bence spoiler değil. Çünkü ifşa etmek leak veya expose gibi. Mesela ünlülerin ifşası. Hani bir film izlerken mesela o sahneyi ifşa etme demiyoruz. Mesela o kişiyi ifşa etme diyoruz. Olabilir tabii, kontekste göre değişir. Genelde kişiler için leak ve expose gibi söylüyoruz ama bir film için de olabilir. Neden olmasın? O sahneyi ifşa etmek istemedim. Olabilir. So, ben göreyim. Wait. Dekaner, yes, you should also pay more attention to the spelling. You forgot a letter. There's a typo. That's very good, Lila. Çok güzel. Maybe daha fazla Türkçe konuşmalıyım belki. I will try to speak more Turkish between these slides, like here and there, so you can also get your ears trained or warmed up to the Turkish sounding. It is coming later, Giga Bey. Birazdan geliyor. Şimdi birazdan Optative Mood Delights hakkında konuşacağız. Yani we will talk about the details of the Optative Mood, as in interesting things to remember, and then we will finally see the examples. Tamam. I think Majun Che is still typing. I will wait for them. Onu bekliyorum. Ondan sonra devam edeceğim. Just Spooky. Spokane. Spokane. Wait, how long has it been so far in the lesson? Fifth. Wait. Since we started late, I guess like 40, 45 minutes. I feel like this lesson will be shorter than usual. We will probably be finished in 1 hour and 15 minutes, like so. 3 more minutes to go. Bir yarım saat falan ders yaparız, sonra bitireceğiz. Şimdi ben gömeyim. No, Majunche, you messed up the first one. Göreyim. You used me, or now that sounds like a different verb. Gömmek. That would mean bury, so like burying a dead body. So that sounds like ben gömeyim, so like let me bury it. Interesting choice. Anyway. Wait, I need to change the color of the text. Okay. Göreyim. Or söyleyeyim. Yes, so the buffer here, because this suffix, the mood suffix is after or at the end there's you need to separate them. And görelim, söyleyelim, and that's all. Bu hatayı gömelim. Evet, bu hatayı gömelim. Kesinlikle. Ve bunun hakkında konuşalım. Now, thank you everyone for joining, for staying. That's the most important part. It took like 1 hour and a half, actually more than that, but It is great to see that there are still 21 people in the voice channel listening to me and reading the chats. Haftaya görüşürüz. See you next week. Herkese iyi akşamlar.